Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba on assignment in Laguna Beach, California. I'm talking with Roy Paul, Executive Director of Sensibility. Roy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
I'm glad you're here. Okay, give us an idea of what your company does, some background, and then I want to dive right into these questions I have for you.
Sure. So Sensibility was founded in 2004 by Alexa DuPont Bell and John Moore. Both of them were students at Harvard Business School, of all places. And in Alexa's case, she is also a member of the DuPont family. But despite those two, I say, prestigious points, Harvard and the DuPont family, both of them were in personal finance debt. They had issues with their money. And we like to tell that story because a lot of people think that only people who don't have money have issues with their money. And that's certainly not the case. And so they looked to themselves one day and said, wait a second, we have all of these resources, certified financial advisors, you name it, and we didn't get it together. So if we are having these types of challenges, we need to do something to give back. Can you imagine, in particular low-income communities, how they're faring with their money and they don't have anyone to tell them about what to do? So that's how Sensibility was founded. And over the years, I would say we've grown leaps and bounds from a small quasi startup to now a nonprofit with legs to grow.
Great. Tell me about the educational process. Because obviously financial literacy is far more important than people really give it credit to, and the younger people get involved in it, the better off they will be as they go forward. I want to hear more about that.
Sure. So it's the whole curriculum is based off of 8 modules, and the first 4 are considered our core modules, and then we get into our advanced modules, starting off from the very basic, from intro to goal setting, savings, budgeting, and then we get into more dicey subjects like credit and stocks and investments and saving for college, and then of course we end on your financial future, so 401k planning, retirement savings, etc. We partner with schools and nonprofits directly. So they contact us and they say, we love what you do. We want you to come into our programs and infuse your financial literacy education. And they let us know whether they want module 1, module 4, all 8. They can pick and choose. And we have volunteers, by and large, from the financial services industry that go out into the field and teach on their location. So we don't have to house students at any of our locations, and we don't source out to students directly. We connect directly with nonprofits and schools who already have students at their location.
How many educational centers are you connected with now?
So every year we have about 100 partners that we can manage, and we would love to grow, but unfortunately we can't handle more than 100 on any given year. It gets too much for us. We have about 500 volunteers in our portfolio, and we teach about 3,000 students a year. So a pretty robust portfolio for a small nonprofit like ours.
I would say. What are you looking to do? Have more donors come in so you can expand the operation?
So all of the above. Of course, we would never say no to donors who want to support our mission, whether they be individuals or banks or corporations. We are really good with connecting with Community Reinvestment Act through banks or corporate social responsibility for those institutions who want their employees to have volunteer opportunities out into the field. We also do field trips where we bring students to corporate headquarters so that they can get a sense of what it's like to be on the trading floor or at a financial institution. We're looking for people to volunteer, of course, if they are in the field of money and they want to lend their expertise to our population, they can do that as well. If someone wants to serve on any one of our 3 boards, we have a governance board, an executive advisory board, and a junior board. We're the only nonprofit in New York City focused on financial literacy with a junior board.
Now,
And we like that.
you really piqued my curiosity there. In the educational processes, you said on the floor. I assume you're talking something like the New York Stock Exchange, right?
New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, we have field trip opportunities with those 2 institutions. We also have a relationship with the Museum of Finance, and we also get to do field trips there as well.
What about the futures exchange of foreign currencies or the new thing, cryptocurrencies? Are you
Yeah.
working in those fields?
We're working in those fields in the sense that we're educating young people about what they are. And we're actually developing, as we speak, an entirely new curriculum on those new emerging technologies, we call it, because everyone's talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and what they mean. And young people hear about those things. And so they really want to learn and understand what it means for them. So we really are trying to educate them as much as we can about those new emerging technologies, and also a new curriculum focused on entrepreneurship, because we realize that in this new emerging technology space that we're in, a lot of young people are not going to go to college for 4 years and then maybe go on to get a professional degree for 2 more years. Many of them are going to go right straight into the workforce, whether it's owning their own small business or working for someone else's small business and having an enterprise of some sort. That's not a 9 to 5. And we recognize that, especially because our population, by and large, is low and moderate income. So while many of them will go to college, and of course we encourage that, we also recognize that not everyone is going to do that.
When you say entrepreneurship, are you encompassing the world of private equity so that they can understand what it takes to run a business and how you become more successful by following mentors who have gone through the process of
Mm-hmm.
developing an idea into an enterprise organization?
Absolutely. And one of the things that we did is that we connected with organizations that have started from startup developments. And so we have a number of mentors who will actually be leading what we call seminars. We'll probably come up with a more sexy name for it in the future.
Sure.
But we have people who have started their own companies who want to do, I would say, specialized lecture series, sort of like TED Talks almost, about their experiences. And there'll be town hall style meetings. And many of the high schools that partner with us have contacted us about doing these types of special series where we bring in guest speakers who really are experts in their field. And that's something that we're going to launch a separate and aside from our normal curriculum. But we're trying to think of ways as an organization of how we can improve the programming, but also add different components to it that will give us longevity as an organization.
Brilliant. You're doing a great job. I really want to commend you and the rest of your board members. Well, because everybody that works with us almost everybody has children, and they need financial literacy in all forms of what they're doing, not just learning. Because in the old-fashioned way, if your dad wasn't in it, your grandfather wasn't in it, chances are you really got to be outside of the curve to be able to get yourself in it. Myself being the same place. So,
Absolutely. And we find a lot of our young people are, the knowledge is really hereditary. So, when we talk to them about a bank, they raise their hand and they say, well, what about the check cashing place, right? Because that's where they go with their mom and dad when they get their check to go cash it. And so they know what banks are because they walk past it and they see JP Morgan Chase or some of the other banks. But they don't have a personalized relationship with them because they, by and large, never walked into it. And these are teenagers. So these are not, small toddlers. These are teenagers walking around who should be investing their money, or at least having the notion that they can take their money, put it in an institution that's not the check cashing place, and watch it grow. And so we're really debunking a lot of myths for them because they didn't grow up with these very basic fundamental things.
perfect. Brilliant. All right. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show, Roy. We're going to help to get your message out to the rest of the people that we know.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Roy Paul, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks.